Apex Season 5 launched today and introduced a new legend, quest system, a ton of interesting changes to the meta and balance of the game, and much more. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of all of the most important changes and additions, and a big thanks to EA for sponsoring this one. So Lobo is the new kid on the block, a legend with a vengeance, and it turns out that Revenant killed her parents when she was a child, and she's absolutely looking to make him pay. I know not everyone is into the lore or the story of the game, but I think the recent cinematic trailers have been fantastic and are well worth a watch. Before we get into detail about Lobo though, Kings Canyon, the map, is back mostly. With Season 5, we're heading back to the original Apex map, although it's not quite how we remember. Respawn have been hard at work changing up the map and fitting it into the lore of the Lobo release, which means goodbye to your beloved Skulltown. I can feel the tears from here. That's not the only change either. Thunderdome has also gone now, but there is a new place of interest in the form of salvage. As well as that, Wetlands has been replaced by the Excavation to Sing Labs, and in general, you'll notice quite a few aesthetic changes across the whole map. It did feel fresh and new. I know that some players were eager for the original Untouched map to be added back into the game, and maybe that will come at some point, but I'm personally going to need a bit more time with this version to decide if I prefer it or not. It's going to be the only map available for the next 2 weeks though, and after that it will go into a rotation with the Season 4 version of World's Edge. One of the new things that you will definitely notice on the updated map are charge towers. You can't really miss them. They're massive glowing towers that when activated grant a full ultimate charge instantly to any legends standing on the platform when the blast goes off. I expect these to be a pretty popular place to jump at the start of a game. Okay then, Lobo, the new legend. She's 34 now, but when she was 9, Revenant murdered her parents, and she became a master thief and eventually would break into a supposedly impenetrable facility and get her hands on jump drive technology stored inside. And this is known in the game as her teleportation bracelet, which also serves as her tactical ability. With this bracelet, Lobo can teleport to hard to reach places quickly and easily. You just throw it down, and after a short delay you will spawn on the other side. You'll have to be careful though, as you won't have your gun out straight away on the other end. So if you place it too close to an enemy, you could end up giving them a really easy kill. So you can use this bracelet to get onto the top of buildings or up cliffs in general. It's an incredibly useful tool that makes Lobo another very good movement character. It doesn't have an incredibly long range though, but you can activate it early if you want. You don't have to let the bracelet land on the ground. Lobo's ultimate is all about loot for you and your squad. It's called Black Market Boutique, and she uses her staff to teleport all the nearby loot to the inventory of the staff. Each friendly can use the staff to take up to 2 items, but once you've picked those 2 up, you can't go back to it anymore. While there's a good chance you'll already be looted by the time you get your ultimate, this could be useful for teammates who have just been respawned back in. And when combined with the ultimate charge towers now on Kings Canyon, you could find yourself and your squad pretty geared up early on. And I did find it useful in situations where you've got a lot of death boxes around, because you can just put it down and you and your squad mates can just go to one point and get easy access and viewing to all of the loot in the area and pick your 2 favorite things. But that's not all though. She's got a good passive ability too called Eye for Quality, which will allow her to see nearby epic and legendary loot through walls, which makes her looting abilities second to none. This means that Lobo is essentially a loot thief, which fits in nicely with her story. Although I imagine that her teleporter will be her most useful ability. Only time will tell though if her balance will fit into the overall game and how useful a looting legend will actually be. Season 5 also brings with it something called the Broken Ghost, and these are the quests. It's a season-long search to find 9 pieces of a mysterious artifact, and you can collect daily treasure packs in competitive matches up to a maximum of 1 per day. These packs can contain either crafting materials, battle pass XP, apex packs, or the ability to play a weekly hunt. And then you go into the hunts, which happen to be Kings Canyon at night, to try and retrieve pieces of the artifact, but you'd better hope that you can get out alive and have a good team. Succeed in each hunt to earn more rewards and unlock serial chapters that tell the story of the Broken Ghost. And if you recover all of the missing pieces, you'll unlock even more rewards and supposedly uncover a secret that the Outlands may not be ready for. As you would expect, there's also a new Battle Pass season offering up plenty of new cosmetic items in the form of character skins, weapon skins and weapon charms. Now next up, we're going to talk about meta changes because there's quite a few and most of them come to the legends and the guns. Firstly, Mirage. I can't say I've ever been a big fan of Mirage because I just didn't feel like he was a good team player, but he's had some changes that definitely make him a bit more useful. His tactical Psych Out allows him to gain control of his decoys by pressing the character utility button. When controlling the decoy, it will mimic Mirage's every move. If you release another decoy, it will remove the previous one. So that's quite different. His ultimate, on the other hand, will deploy a team of decoys that mimic his every move. So that's even more confusing for the enemy. And lastly, his passive's got a buff too, and it will not only allow him to be cloaked when downed, but also cloaked when using a respawn beacon and reviving a teammate, which also cloaks the downed teammate too. I think that passive in particular is very strong. Some good changes to Mirage here, but I'm still not sure that I'll be maining that character anytime soon. There's also a lot of smaller changes to Gibraltar, Pathfinder, Octane, Caustic, Lifeline and Crypto. Mostly tweaks to ability times, although some big ones. Caustic's gas no longer slows down friendlies, which I think is a massive deal. You're going to see a lot more people playing Caustic now. Also, Pathfinder's had a big nerf. His grapple cooldown has now been increased from 15 seconds to 35 seconds, and that means that you're going to be grappling a whole lot less. Pathfinder mains will definitely not be happy about that one. Now you may be wondering if there's any new weapons in Season 5. Unfortunately not. It's the first season not to have a new weapon in fact, and Respawn say this is intentional because they feel like they've got too many weapons in the weapon pool, and if they add more, it will become too saturated. Interestingly, they've rejected the idea of vaulting weapons too, because players could have bought skins for a certain weapon. Now, even though there are no new weapons, there are definitely a lot of weapon changes. The main one is the Peacekeeper. Definitely a meta weapon for me, has been moved out of the regular weapon pool and put into care packages, and it has been buffed slightly as a result, so that will be mad now. The Mastiff on the other hand has gone the other way around, so that's now in the normal loot pool. Interesting swap. A few other small changes to the Wingman, Longbow and Alternator also come into effect, but the Gold Armor has seen an interesting change too. No longer does it give you 50% heal speed, but instead shield cells and syringes give double the amount per use. And wrapping things up, I think one of the best updates for this game since it launched, but sadly one of the least talked about hyped features for Season 5, is something that I've been begging for since day one, and it's finally here. A reconnect feature. That's right, at long last you can rejoin a game if you crash or your internet goes down, whatever happens. And at one point, crashing on Apex was so frustrating that I just had to stop playing it for a while. It did get a bit better after a few Nvidia patches, but I think that you do still get the odd game crash. So to be finally able to get back into a game is a huge relief, providing that you don't manually exit the game via the menu, or you Alt F4 or you dashboard the game on console. So if it's a legitimate crash or your internet goes down, you will be able to get back in by restarting the game, and the game will attempt to reconnect you if the match is still valid and you're still alive and the team is ongoing. And as with most other BR games, your character will remain in the place that you were when you disconnected. And so if it happens to be in the middle of a fight, you're still probably going to die, but thankfully you could still be respawned if you rejoin the game and your squad picks up your banner. It's also worth noting that the Deathbox inventory screen has been completely overhauled, and I really like it. I think it's a lot cleaner and easier to access certain items now. Overall, I think this is a good start to the season. I think I need a bit more time though with the map and Lobo to fully understand how much I like them and understand how they play. But I think there are some great quality of life updates in here, and the map feels fresh enough that it isn't quite like playing the same original Kings Canyon all over the game. There's a lot of new areas to discover and fight over here. With that said, that's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts on Apex Season 5 down in the comments below. Have you tried it yet? Leave a like if you liked the video, a dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.